So who sleeps? Who sleeps? It's our physical body that needs rest. Nobody else needs rest. All these other bodies don't need rest. What they will do? They will run away. They will go and then they'll enjoy. They'll go. So there is this silver cord, which is the etheric energy body. It connects the physical body and the astral body. It's saying that, okay, this astral body is still connected to this physical body. I'm still connected. I'm not leaving this physical body and going away. So there is no end to what distance that astral body can cover, but it can go to great distances because it is all at a subtle level. And typically people go and then they go to masters and then they meet up with other loved ones, deceased loved ones, and then they learn a lot of knowledge and then come back. For example, people suddenly they wake up one day morning and say, wow, I have some beautiful music that is getting composed in my head. And then they'll start playing that music all of a sudden. I mean, they were sleeping all night, but then how did they really get this new music in their head? Because the astral body was traveling and then they sat with some music teachers at an astral level and then they learned all that music. And then the grasping power of that astral body is also very high. So they learn so we all learn a lot of these kinds of things when we travel. We also experience dream states. So the body generates, so we generate about 60,000 thoughts per day. And in that 60,000 thoughts, we are all creators, right, Masters? We are all creators. Not even a single thought should become a waste. Otherwise, it's like we are not creators. It's if God thinks something and then everything is getting created, we are also gods. When we are able to think something, everything gets created. But then why can't we see that in the physical body? Because that for the physical body, it needs a lot of energy to be pumped to see it in the physical, in this physical life. But then there has to be somewhere that this, everything that we think happens, right? It happens in this astral state or this astral plane. It is called astral plane. This is where all our dreams and all these aspirations and other things become true. So whatever cannot happen in the physical body and your soul has not planned that in this physical life, we go and enjoy all that in the astral state, in this dream state. So all of these things happen in the astral body. So the astral body is a seat of all our emotions. What kind of emotions? Happy, sad, anxious, desperation. There are so many things, so many emotions, spectrum of emotions, love, gratitude. All of these things are happening at the astral body level. Because you see, when we feel all these things, when we think all these things, we can't see it in the physical body. When they operate, all of us, they can't see these things, right? So where is all of these things? All this kind of thing is stored at various physical, all these bodies. It's like a database. So we are nothing but a sum total of all these bodies, because different information is stored at these different bodies based on the capacity of the information or the frequency of that information. So the next body is called the mental body or the Vijnanamaya Kosha or the Manas Sharir. Vijnana means mentally, the belief systems that we carry are all in the mental body. So see, the physical body, the etheric body, the astral body and the mental body, they're all in something called the physical plane, in the physical plane only. But then the spiritual, the cosmic and the nirvanic are in something called the nirvanic plane, the spiritual plane. From a physical plane, somebody is going to a spiritual plane. So I'll come to talk about that when we speak at the spiritual level. So the mental body is more, it's holding a lot of thought forms, belief systems. I am this, I am that, we should do this, we should not do that. If I do this, that will happen. If I do that, this will happen. Those kinds of belief systems are at the mental body. It is more connected to the ego. So if we have to go from, if our consciousness has to travel from the mental body state to the physical, to the spiritual body state, we need to drop all kinds of ego. We need to let's say, not even believe that something has to be done like this, something has to be done like that. There is no right and wrong. Everything has to be dropped because everything is right. So that kind of a, belief system has to happen when you go from 4 to 5. I mean, it is such a challenging state if you think like that. Maybe at that state it will happen. But then if you see, whatever we think, that we are holding on to as our belief systems today, that we think that we cannot live without those belief systems. For example, let's say going into a very, very dirty restroom is something that I can't even think about. So these kinds of things we'll have to drop, something that is really seriously close to ourselves, right? So if we have to drop all that, we will definitely go into an experience. We'll have to definitely experience few things where we will be forced to experience those kinds of dirty experiences. And then we will have to give up and say, I am not this experience. I am just a soul. Only this body is experiencing all these things. I'll have to drop that experience. So that detachment is what every single body is teaching us. It is teaching us to give up some kind of thing and then go to the higher state. So at some point in time, we'll have to give up everything and go to nothingness. We came from nothingness to everythingness. So now we'll have to give up each of these things and then go and travel to a higher level. So mental body, see, it's like this. In the mental body, there is a it's at the fourth dimension, or you can say at let's say a heart level. So here, the way you should think about is there are lots of thought forms that are actually in the atmosphere. When you based on the frequency of vibration that you are at, you will be able to tap into a certain thought and say, this thought is mine. And then you will pick up that thought, you will have a corresponding emotion to it. And then there will be a belief system also associated with it from your past lives. So it is all getting connected, and then you experience that in the physical body. Somebody else can also tap into that thought form and then say, it is mine, and they will also go ahead. For example, if I have a thought form that I have to become a doctor, then, or let's say I have to become an nature care practitioner, then I have grabbed onto that thought and then become a nature care practitioner. Somebody else also wanted to become a nature care practitioner. They also held on to that thought form, and then so that you can hold on to the thought form, which is there at a consciousness level, a collective consciousness level, but then you can take and make it your personal experience. So all that actually happens at the mental body level. So people like Einstein and all of those people were at that state where they were people who have a very good mental body, who are very stable, and who have a well-formed mental body. They're all very high achieving people. They have contributed a lot to the community. People like Einsteins, or let's say all the high people who've been achieving at a very high level, and then you think that, oh my God, they are like gods. They know everything, kind of thing. But then they are not still at a god state. They are still at a human state, but a superhuman state. So that they have reached that state where they don't have any association with what I am doing, but then they're just enjoying their own creation. So that is the mental body state. So typically what Osho Master says is, until this fifth body, every single body is of the same size. From the fifth body, the size apparently becomes bigger because it is at the spiritual plane. And also, as per Patriji, the bodies until the fifth body state, right, are all unique to a person. And until the causal body state, every single person is unique. So what is the fifth body state? It is more causal. Causal means karan sharir. It is more the reason why you need to incarnate every single time. It has reasons. So why should I incarnate this time? Why should I incarnate next time? So all the karmas are stored at a causal level. Karmas are stored at a causal level. It means, why should I incarnate every single time? If I still have a reason to believe that I have to experience lot more. So why do we have to come and experience all these things? Because if I have to experience my own creation as a creator, I'll have to go through all the let's say the negative side of the spectrum. I have to be a serial killer. I have to be let's say a thief. I have to be everything where there is absolutely no moral at all. I'll just keep doing all kinds of things, because if that morality comes in, then I'll stop doing all that. So when does that morality come in? Once I have almost finished these kinds of experience, and then in all of these states, what are we searching for? The soul has descended from all these states, and then it went to the last state. But then there is always that craving. to experience that soul state, that merging with the Paramatma. It knows when I'm merged with the Paramatma, I'm in pure bliss, I'm in Satchidanand state. So it wants to always keep experiencing Satchidanand state. So what it wants to do in the physical body, while it is experiencing, trying to experience all the things of his own creation, it is always trying to search for that state, because it is always in the journey to go back. It came down to experience, but then the objective is to go back to that state, the nirvanic state. So it is more like a treasure hunt game. In all of these things, there are clues to say, okay, you come and experience this. Check if your Sachidanand is in this. Check if your Sachidanand is in that. So in everything, whether in the food you eat, in the physical state, whether in the relationships, in every single thing, you're searching for that bliss, the eternal bliss. So you have to experience all the negative sides and such. Oh, it is there in killing? No, it is not there in killing. Is it there in raping? It is not there in raping. Is it there in becoming a rape victim? No, it is not there in experiencing becoming a rape victim. Is it there in becoming a beggar? So he is experiencing all of these states where there was so much of sadness and this and that in everything. Even in sadness, it is searching all that. So then it will start experiencing the good part of it, which is the higher state of it. So the intellect, it will start tapping into the intellect. Then it will think, okay, it is not there in anything. Maybe it is there inside me only. And then this journey starts. Then he will come into contact with people who will teach. Let's say you're coming into contact with this kind of workshops, where it is going to take you to your Satchidanand state, true Satchidanand Nirvanic state at some point in time. And then you will start reading books. You'll start going into satsangs. So all of these things have happened majorly after you have gone through all of these negative states where you've done all kinds of heinous acts. And then you have decided that, no, it is not there in that. I'm never going to even do that again. I'm not going to search all my Satchidanand in that again. Now I'm going to come back. And now I'm going to search my journey upwards, which is, I will go into meditation, and then I will go into my energy body and search whether my Satchidanand is there. I'm going to go into my astral body. And then in the astral body, I'll do a lot of travels. I'll go and search there. I'll gain energy. I'll go and search in everything. There also, there's a point in which you won't want to do astral travels again and again and again, because you will want to search for something else, which is your Satchidanand. Because there is no eternal joy in any of these things. So again, then you'll go to a mental body state. So there also you're dropping all your ego, because ego was holding on to your desires of the lower levels. You still want the body, you still want your identity, you still want this, you still want that. You want to feel happiness as Smitha, you want to feel happiness as let's say a nature care practitioner, you want to feel happiness as somebody, as a mother who maybe does good cooking, your children are appreciating you. So all of it's still holding on to all of those beliefs. So it needs to give up all those beliefs and then travel to a state where it says that I am, I don't belong to anything. I don't have any attachments. So that state, so that is a spiritual state. So this is where all that collective pools and all those things come in. So masters, in everything that you do, why are you sad? Because you are sad because you are not getting your true Satchidanand state in anything. So the ultimate goal of life is to eventually come inwards and then search for it inwards. And we can't get it inwards so easily, because we need that energy to keep getting pumped inside us to travel higher and higher and higher. Today, we may know, oh, intellectually, I have to go to the nirvanic body state to experience that. But then can we go generally jump like that? We can't. We'll have to do a lot of sadhana. We have to keep collecting energy and then ensure that that energy is not lost in our day-to-day life. 24 hours are there. In that 24 hours, let's say few hours you sleep. And then few hours you're living with your family, your office and all of those things. It is like a cup. We are like a cup. There is an energy leak always happening. And then you're constantly filling it, let's say, with meditations and good positive thoughts and all that. You're constantly filling it up with meditations. But then there is always a leak. Now your children are irritating you, and then you get irritated. Why? Because you are looking for Satchidanand in your children also. Okay, they didn't give you, you are not finding it. Again, there's a leak, there's expectations and all of those things. So you're leaking. So if you have to pour a lot more into this bottle, even though there's a leak, You'll have to pour so much that it is always overflowing. Then you are able to go from one body to another body. If you're not, if you're pouring every day with meditation and all of those things, but then every day you're leaking more than what you're pouring, then what will happen? You are still in the same status quo. You're still in the same state every single day. So it takes a lot more effort and investment for you to put energy. It's like a rocket. If rocket has to go anti-gravity towards the sky, that much is the effort that you'll have to put energy into your body and then go towards the sky, right? So like that, we go into these states. So spiritual plane is more like a, Osho says, physical body, etheric body, astral body, and mental body, they are more like horizontal plane. You're jumping from one, you're going forward. It's more like a forward direction. But then once you come into the spiritual, from the mental body, you have to drop your ego completely to go into the spiritual one. Here it is not, the jump is not so easy, he says. He says the jump is more vertical in nature. So it is more like you're at a Agnya Chakra level. So you have seen people who have meditated on the Agnya Chakra. So what they do, they try to look upwards in Kriya meditations, and even the what Sadhguru and all those people teach, they look upwards. So many of these people, they do Agnya Chakra meditations and all that. Right? So this is where they are going from that plane to this plane. So, but then what you should also remember is there is no shortcut to this process, going from one place to the other place, one body to other body, because there may be spiritual gurus who will come and then initiate you into something, or who will touch you and then say that your Kundalini has raised. So all of these things they can say, or you can go and then hear all these high frequency vibrations, music that is there on YouTube, and do all of these things, or do some energy work and do so all of these things will not help you get to these states truly. You might experience those states, but then you will not be able to actually live in those kind of state at a daily level. So like, for example, what they say is Patriji used to always be in that meditative state, even when he was walking, or even when he was interacting. He was always in that meditative state. So he's always living in that state. We may go into all these bodies when we are meditating, but then if we have to actually feel those bodies as soon as you close your eyes or with that, just think that maybe you'll need further read. If you like further reading also, these are the books that you can go ahead and then see. The 7 Principles of Man by Theosophical Society has a lot of such books. And Barbara Brennan, 3 books, which is Hands of Light, Light Emergy, and Core Light Healing. It is more for practitioners who are in the space where you are seeing the bodies or the auras, and then you are going into the healing space. So it's a very detailed book. But Osho also has a lot of other talks, and PSSM also has a lot of videos and talks by the masters. So these are the books that you can go through to read more about this subject. Do you have any other questions? We have 3 more minutes.